Come on in, fam. You're internet to another two. Your host with the most. For one, the apostle, the prophet, the cosmic commander. Inviting you all in. We're going to deal with part two. Self-conscious. We'll just take the opportunity to share. You all know what we do when we come in the room. We do what? We just press the share button. Come on, fam. Gratitude. Come on in, fam. We're going to get ready to enter into this session. Um, we're going to go ahead and what we're going to do is we're going to set our frequency and we're going to go ahead and get into this. We're going to be dealing with the second part of self conflict. And I want to hang around in this particular um, genre, this level of information, because what we're going to try to do for you guys, we're going to get in Empress Maya. She's also dealing with the masculine and the feminine, dealing with self conflict, dealing with relationships, dealing with those things that we need. Okay. Shout out to the master teacher, the quantum shifter, the shape shifter, the code breaker. He's out on location. Greetings, Queen Tracy, Delphina. Gratitude. Thank you for the gift. We've been graced by the Queen. All right, so you guys ready to set this frequency and we can get on into this? We call the truth session to order. We call all that have an ear to hear to order in the truth session. All right, we see you, the master teacher, the quantum shifter, the shape shifter, the code breaker, man. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and set this frequency. Greetings, family. Pt2 in hotel. Abaragani. Amani kaka. Amani dada. Hola. Bonjour. Niam. Bonjour. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Thank you all for sharing your Saturdays with us here in the Truth Session. We're going to be dealing with part two of self conflict. We were talking about the anima and the animus. We're going to get back to that because I want to hang here because what I want to do is get Empress Umaya in from Spain to be in with us in the Truth Session one of these Saturdays because she's dealing with the masculine and the feminine as well and dealing with relationships as well. And I think it's very important in this season that we deal with self because everything is going to be centered around self. Okay, so you want to prepare yourself for this so that you can put yourself in the greatest position for self fulfillment, self progression for self. And one of the things that you're going to embark upon on this journey is that once you really reintroduce yourself to yourself, you're going to open up yourself and you're going to be able to communicate on a whole nother level. You're going to be able to manifest on a whole nother level because you're going to be dealing with, right? You're not going to have to worry about what somebody think about you. You're going to be dealing with you. And we're going to be dealing with what? Relationship. Guess who the relationship is going to be with, though? It's going to be with you. So many times we want to start out in a relationship with someone and we haven't established a relationship with ourselves, right? And as a result of that, we tend to run into situations. Sometimes we run into toxicity, confusion, and a number of other things that we run into because why we really haven't dealt with ourselves. And there's times that we may even trauma bond because why? We haven't dealt with self. We haven't dealt with what we may have experienced along our journey, right? So one of the things that we really want to do is get an understanding, to get an understanding so that we can overstand, so that we can surround, so that we can get all the information that surrounds us in our energy field. Surround standing, like understanding, we get surround standing, right? We get surround standing when we ground. You all know how we go out and we ground. We walk outside with no shoes on, walk in the grass, walk on the soil, because we're grounding, right? When we're grounding, that means that we're surrounding ourselves with energy. We're tapping into a source of self energy, right? And we're connecting with the universe to ground that so that it becomes clean and renewable. What are we doing in this season? What we're cleansing ourselves. Those of you that may have not had an opportunity to go through a cleansing process, you may want to detox. Detox your body. There's many products out there that you can use. And those of you, I think Kizzy, hey, Sergeant at Arms Kiana, if Kizzy's in the room, I think Kizzy does a detox, and it's some other supporters, family members on the timeline that do sell wellness products. Uh, I'm not for sure, but I think Dr. Clear as well uh, does that. Yes. So why am I talking about detox? Because it's very important to realize that in this season, it's about you. And we're not talking about on a selfish level because I'm going to demonstrate as to why we're not talking about on a selfish level, but we're going to be talking about on a togetherness level, a bonding level, where you're going to bond with yourself. And I'm going to put this information back out here real quick. We talked about this in the last session. If you haven't had an opportunity to catch up on this information, it's definitely on my page. Okay? And you can go to my page and check it out. Okay? Here we go. Okay. Those of you that's been, and we've had these terms before. So it isn't anything that's brand new, right? Anima and animus, right? Female and male, right? Comes from the Latin and also works through the Greek. Um, why am I why am I putting these terms in your eye gates? Because it's very important. Now, when we're talking about the anima and animus, we're not talking about being a female and then it being a male apart, right? When we talk about the anima and the animus, we're talking about that it is in one person. One person. You're comprised of both female and male. Okay. See, this is the first relationship that you should have, right? With your what? Say it again. With yourself. And because we don't have a healthy relationship with ourselves in some cases, we cannot develop that relationship outside of ourselves, right? Because there's going to be some level of confusion, disturbance, because we haven't established the relationship with ourselves. Because partly we haven't been taught or given more information on how to develop that, right? We have a lot of coaching going on. There's quite a few coaches out here that are coaching, but they're not delving into certain things that helps you connect the dots, right? So what this is taking you back to is the female in the male that's in self or that is within you. Now, I'm a baby boomer, so me growing up, it was always taught you got to be a man. You can't cry. Yes, no emotions. You're not to show any emotions because why? You will be deemed as being weak and soft. No, listen. This is I'm sharing with you all where we've missed it and gone wrong in some places because we've been given what misinformation and or disinformation. So now, what is incumbent upon us if we're out here coaching, counseling, uh, doing wellness, doing therapy, whatever we're doing, we have to find that element that is not properly connected. And more often than not, you're going to find that there isn't a healthy relationship in a set person. Now, why am I saying this? Because it's very important for us to realize that we have to self actualize. We have to get with self. Are y'all feeling me? Hey, Bell. Just so we're on the same page. I ain't kidding. I'm not sure, but hey, it is what it is, right? Okay. Now, so but when you get to this, this is important, y'all. Let's really look at this. I know we don't talk about this, right? Because I get around. I've been some everywhere. I've been teaching some everywhere, counseling some everywhere. I've been some everywhere. But when I hear people counsel and teach, I never hear them get to this. I never hear them get to this. The anima and animus, because there was a conflict with the female and the male. Isn't that something? There was a conflict with the female and the male that is inside of a person. Whether you female or you identify as a female. Consciously, we talked about this. We talked about how we project off onto each other, right? So consciously, I identify as a male or as a man. That's what I identify as. So that's what I'm going to project off onto you, right? And so a female or a woman will identify with who she is and project that off onto you. Okay? So now, here's the thing. So even though that female is identifying as a female, yet there is a male on the inside of her, right? And although that male is projecting that he's a male onto you, there is a female on the inside of him. And more often than not, we're not in tune with that, right? Check it out. We're not in tune with that because, again, as growing up as a small boy, as a child, we were always taught as a male child, show no emotions. If you get knocked down, get up. You don't feel pain like everybody else feel pain, right? You shut that off because why? You don't want to be or appear to be soft because somehow you will be taken advantage of, right? Now let's flip that over to the female. How the female is being reared. The female is being reared to be what? Feminine. She's being reared to what? Play house. Yes, to be submissive, to play house, yeah, to be soft, and to dress up, play role play, right? So you got this going on with the female. So that's what she's projecting. That's what she's been taught. That's how she's been brought up. So now, if that's disturbed, listen to me. You hear me well. If that is disturbed, for example, I've counseled many women that were very masculine, and for educational purposes only, I'm sharing this. That they were introduced to playing with toys with their little brothers. Did you hear what I said? They were introduced with playing with toys with their little brothers. They was playing with the trucks, playing with the pistolas, with the pistols running around playing with the football. Yeah, yes, wrestling and tussling. with their brothers. So they developed that masculine side of them when they were interacting with their brothers. But however, the male was not allowed in most cases to say it again to exemplify any type of female qualities, right? He wasn't allowed to sew, bake, cook. He was solely built for provision and protection. So when you get into relationships today, what are you looking at in a relationship? All I want from him is provision and protection. Right? I don't need anything else from him. But then when the relationship takes a turn, not for the best, but for, yes, the worst, you're trying to figure out what happened. What happened was that you didn't allow for the freedom of what we call it expression. We get into not allowing each other to express themselves. See, again, let me share with you, the relationship goes back to how well you have developed yourself. See, when you can tell just as clear as a veil, as we say, sort of speaking, when someone is off a little bit, when you're in a relationship with them, it's off a little bit. You can kind of feel like something just ain't right. I can't put my finger on it, but something just isn't flowing the way that it should be flowing. How do how do this happen? It happens because we make decisions based off of what? Information that we already what? Have. You're not making any decisions that are based off of something that you don't have because you don't have access to that. But whatever has been imparted within you is what you will call upon. And it's whatever the environment becomes conducive for it to manifest. Right? So if you haven't self actualized and brought balance to yourself, guess what's going to happen? You're always going to be looking for validation. Y'all ever notice? When you're in a relationship, when someone is not quite balanced in themselves, they're always looking for validation for someone or something to bring validation to them because they haven't what? Properly developed. They haven't properly developed their anima or their animus. It hasn't been developed yet. How do we do that? What does that look like? Right? It looks like, again, going back to a healthy relationship between your parents. Did y'all hear that? And I know some of us grew up maybe in a single parent household and not both parents were there. Why am I saying this? Because typically what we found through research is that a child is going to retain more of what they see than what they hear. Right? Have you ever noticed that you can tell a child don't do something, but if they've seen you do it, they do it anyway because they've seen it. They know what that looks like. But what you're trying to tell them not to do, they don't know what that looks like because you haven't done that. You did something else. Okay. So now, while we are building our families, we have to bear in mind that our children are susceptible unto the environment and what is happening in the environment. Everything is not genetic. Everything is not genetically passed down. Most of what you're going to get is going to come from the environment because the brain is going to be interpreting what's happening in the environment based upon what your duality gives it. And it's going to develop you in a way that that's that's sustainable for that environment that brings you the highest level of survivability. Right? So your brain is going to be interpreting that. But let me get back to the parents. Two parents, you are getting an opportunity to see them interact. You're getting an opportunity to see the masculine and the feminine interact. And if they properly interact, what that does is it gives you the ability to develop both your masculine and your feminine. I think it's some went out of Okay, fam, we fixing it now. We're gonna have to get a different one. Excuse me, fam. I'm sorry. We just my mic don't want to act right. Okay, can y'all sound back yet? Okay, all right. Okay, let me hit some of this nectar right here, fam. Just so we on the same page, family, and you in the room and you'd like to share with me, put the one on the timeline. Just so I know we on the same page. All right. Nectar by KD, baby. So now, based upon, let me go back. Based upon these relationships, relationship between that mother and the father in that environment, and what we found out again is that it's not so much genetic as much as it is that it's being exposed, or the child is being exposed to. Will determine what and how they develop. So, but if we can get a glimpse of what it looks like for a father and a mother to interact on a healthy level, will determine what develops in that child or those children, right? They won't be afraid to see, excuse me, or interact with their feminine as a male, and as a female, they won't be afraid to interact with their masculine without bringing about an imbalance, right? They'll see it as a balance. They'll balance out their masculine and balance out their feminine, where they won't move too far to the right or too far to the left. Some of us as men, and I've been in this place before, some of us as men, and we don't have these conversations. Some of us as men, we are trying so hard to be a man that we're looking to be validated. And so what do? We do various acts to try to prove that we're masculine, we're man, all right? Some of us, what do? Some of us, we go to the gym, man, we work out. We work out, we go to the gym so much that we don't even have time for a relationship because we're too busy trying to prove that we are male and we're so masculine, right? Check that out. We do that. See, we don't have these conversations. But you're in the truth session with your host, with the most, the one, the apostle, the prophet, the cosmic commander. Self-conflict. How do we work these things out? right? You don't want to go too far to the left. You don't want to go too far to the right. You want to get right in the center, right? Right? You want to bring what? Balance and harmony. There's a term for that. When you balance your masculine and your feminine, what happens? And yes, yes, androgynous. That's what happens. Androgynous happen. You are balanced both with your masculine and your feminine. You know how to interact. You know how to, if you're male and something is off, you know how to not be aggressive. You know not to assert yourself at this particular time, right? As a man, you begin to really understand how to communicate at this particular time when there is a conflict. You're not ready to throw hands. You're not ready to throw hands. You're actually ready to just throw some nice, kind words that brings about peace, balance, and harmony because you are in balance with your feminine self. You know, people don't want to hear you talk like this shit because they, oh man, you just into that new stuff and y'all just talking and da 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 da. But I bet your woman can say, hey man, you look rough around the edges. Right? I've been in relationships where listen, man, that sister was so taught, so turned up that I said, look, you look rough around the edges. You working too hard in that masculine, right? You need to bring it back to balance. Bring it back to balance, and then our conversation with each other changes. It transitions from one position to an open position where we can communicate with each other on a whole nother level. Are you listening to me? But we're not having these conversations because we don't know what to really call it. We call it masculine and feminine, but when you get to that animus and the anima and the animus, it's hitting the nail on the head with the hammer. That it's in you, that the conflict is within you. And when arguments break out, it is directly related to the fact that there is an imbalance in you, whether it be chemically, whether it be mentally, whether it be spiritually, etc., etc. It lies within you. Until we really find out what the conflict is and why am I feeling like this? Why am I so open and my emotions are so open at this time? What is going on? What is the energy that is in the environment? And see, we have to become healthy mentally, healthy spiritually, so that we can know how to galvanize a time when things are trying to just go haywire. And then we realize, oh, the toxicity is in me, the trauma is in me, the anger is in me, the frustration is in me, the bitterness is in me, the jealousy is in me. Let me identify what's going on so I won't project that and injure and wound and traumatize someone else. Think about it. It's self-confidence. This is the season that you take a good, strong look at yourself, introspection, self-actualization. Go within yourself. It's all right. It's all right to want to fix ourselves. It's all right to find out where you at in your thought processes so that you can develop on a higher level. So you'll be more inviting, intriguing, more lovable, more approachable, more friendly. This is the season. There's nothing like meeting someone that has an ugly soul. Yes, of course, there are times that we're going to end up in relationships where we have to heal each other. But then there are relationships that we can come into and we realize that, no, this isn't for me. No, 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 no. There's too much going on. You're not ready. Sometimes we just have to know that some people aren't ready, and that's okay. So what we do is work on us, work on you, and then you realize that you know what? I don't even need that validation because guess what? When you balance the effect that you will have on people, and when you step in a room, will be dynamic. They'll feel you. Funny thing, real quick story, and I'm about to let you get out. I was in the cigar shop the other day. I stepped in, I walked through the door. The brother, he was coming around to be seated, him and his girl. He was coming around, and he stopped and looked at me. He literally just froze. He was like, "Hey man, what's up? How you doing?" Yes. I said, all is well, brother. How you doing? So we stepped outside and started talking. And he said, man, it just felt like I could approach you. It was, you made me feel like it was okay. I'm free to approach you and talk to you. I said, yes, that's the kind of energy that I get. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this that when you become balanced, you attract. I'm not saying you don't attract something if you're not balanced, but what I'm talking about is you attract with clean, renewable energy. You have such an impact upon a person that you can clean their energy at that moment and create clear thought in them so that they can see clearly, so they can see who you are. No, when I hit him with my energy, I cause him to be able to see clearly because I touched him. Why? With my spirit, with my energy. Because why? I'm a healer. I'm here to bring balance. And it's important if you're a healer, you're a counselor, therapist, teacher, you should be ready to heal. Always carrying that kind of energy where you are approachable, where someone can see that, whoa, wow, man, what you're carrying is awesome, right? Isn't that something? Let me see. Check this timeline. Kissy says, yes, it's all right to want to fix ourselves. Yes, correct. Yes. Yes, Lavelle. Balance and harmony. Yes. Thank you, Stephanie. Kizzy says, for anything healthy to happen in life, you have to be balanced and in alignment with yourself and being able to control your emotions and self accountability. Yes. Thank you, Queen Kizzy. We love you too, Kiana. Yes, indeed. So, what are we really talking about right now? Just loving on ourselves, which in turn allow us to love each other. So it's all about love. See, when you love yourself in a healthy and wholesome way, it allows you to be able to love someone else in a healthy and wholesome way. Yes, indeed. So with that being said, I didn't come to hold you long. I know these are your Saturdays, but I just wanted to finish up on part two and get us to a safe space and place in our minds so that we can further develop ourselves. Because it's about self. It's about being healthy, man. You really want to be healthy so that you can have a healthy relationship. Okay? We're going to get into some other things in the truth session as well. We talk about the womb and how the womb has been changed, and which is why we're getting different levels of behavior because of relationships and how those relationships are developed. All right? So we're going to get into some very powerful things. And again, like I share with you all, I'm hanging around in the masculine and the feminine because we're going to try to eventually get Empress Yamaya and Jacqueline Harris here in the truth session for you guys. You guys will love them. You guys will love them. They've already been in Wind Down Wednesday. For those of you that haven't had an opportunity to meet us in Wind Down Wednesday, y'all need to get your fix it. You would enjoy it. All right. So without further ado, y'all know what? I've reached that space, place, in time where I must say, hey, what you got? Use your cogitate upon it, ponder on it, meditate upon it. But by all means, do what? Govern yourselves accordingly. Yes. Eternal life, peace, power, prosperity, and excellent health. Until next time, this is the host, the one, the apostle, the prophet, the God, the man. Salam alaikum. Wish the call. Peace be unto you. Father, namaste.